Hi everyone. So this will be my first YouTube tutorial, and I was thinking about making an animal topper or any kind of topper, and I thought that I've been getting a lot of orders for unicorn cakes, and that's what we will be making, unicorn cake toppers. So I'll start with a white piece of fondant. This one's pre-made. It's just a simple marshmallow fondant. And uh, to start, we need to make that harden. So I'll just use a bit of Tylose powder. I don't really have a measurement for this sort of topper, how to make it harden, but I just eyeball it, and I just go by feel. After kneading it for a little bit, it starts to toughen up, and so you know that it's ready for use. And it is important to make the fondant a bit, how do you say, stiff, because it'll be sitting on top of a cake, and if you're putting a head on top of the body, you don't want the body to start crumbling down. So you want that to be sturdy enough to hold the weight that's going to go on top of it. You'll see what I mean in a bit. So I think that's enough Tylose powder there. And then I'm going to start making the shape. Okay, so I like to use either X-Acto knife, a cutter, but I need something sharp, and sometimes I even use the knife from McDonald's, you know, the ones that they have, that they serve with their pancakes. They're actually very good for cutting fondant, because fondant doesn't really stick on those things. So there, I've cut a piece here. It looks like a big marshmallow. And this is going to be the base or the body. But because the head is going to be larger than the body, I'm going to put just a bit more Tylose powder to make sure that it is going to set hard. You be careful not to use too much Tylose powder, because if you do that on all the pieces of fondant, they might be a bit difficult to work with. So I am putting more Tylose into the one that I actually will be using already. So there it is. Now I'm going to roll it into a ball. You have to put a bit of pressure there, just so you remove the seams and the topper looks clean. So roll it into a ball like so, and check there are no more seams. They're all smooth. So then I am going to roll it like this so that I get a more tapered edge. This area right here needs to be a tad skinnier, and this area in the bottom where the unicorn is going to sit is going to have like a bigger bottom. So you can make your unicorn fat, you can make your unicorn skinny. That will depend entirely on your preference, or the decorator's preference, or the client's. Okay, so I think this is a tad too long. It's okay if you're going to make a big topper, but what I want to do today is make a cute topper. And in order to make a cute topper, I think that we need to make the head almost as big as the body. Because if you make the head small, it's not going to look cute. It's going to look like an adult unicorn. If you want to make a unicorn that's cute looking, you have to make the head bigger. I'll show you what I mean in just a little bit. Okay, so I have cut the body into a smaller piece. I've cut the base because I'm happy with how the top looks now. And now that I have the base, I'm going to show you what I mean by a bigger head and a smaller head. I should probably make two, right? Heads, just for comparison purposes. Alright, so yep. Now we're gonna make the legs first of the unicorn, and then we're gonna do the arms next. So I've prepared two balls that'll serve as the unicorn heads. Sorry, this one's still a bit soft, so I think I'm just gonna add a little bit more Tylose there. Like I said, this is all by feel, and I add more Tylose to which parts I want to harden. So it's not too difficult to work with, because if they're already starting to harden and then I need bits and pieces from there, it'll be impossible for me to work with them. So there I have the first ball, which is going to be the head, the small head, and then we'll do the second ball, which is going to be the bigger head. I'm just going to make two head samples so that later on you can choose to do whichever you think is nicer for your cake or whichever fits. Because I understand people prefer different things. Alright, so there. After you've turned them into balls, I need you to just squeeze that area in the middle there and sort of roll it around your palm like this. Alright, so that's gonna sort of like give an indentation in the middle, and that's where the eye of the unicorn is gonna go. And you're gonna do the same with a bigger circle. You don't really want to just press it hard like that, because what that's going to do is flatten the head. So what you want to do is just roll it a little bit and make that indentation so that it's not too flat in the back. Alright, so there you go. You have those two head shapes. Now we're going to go to the legs. You just let that rest for a little bit, and that's going to go on top of the body later. So now I'm just kneading, and then I'm going to roll. I have here a piece, wet towel, and that's where I wipe my sharp cutters so that I always get a clean cut each time. I think that's very important when you're making a topper or anything really for the cake, to get sharp edges. So so I cut a log there, and then I cut this area sort of diagonally so that it can sit snugly into the unicorn's side. So that's sort of like, it's going to serve as its leg. Okay, so that we get equal sides, I'm going to do the same on the other area. right? Okay. We're just doing this freehand, so please bear with me if they're not perfect. So you just put them there, and that's the leg, the other leg. And to stick them together, you can use water, you can use gin or vodka, alcohol with high, uh, sorry, liquor with a high alcohol content, as long as it's clear, so that it evaporates quickly. And then you use a brush, just get a little bit, maybe tap the excess onto your hand so there's not too much of the gin, and then you stick that on there like so, and do the same here on the other side. All right, so now that's together, you make the arms. All right, so just turn it into a ball, and then roll. Turning it into a ball reduces, seams. So, yeah, it's just gonna give your unicorn arms a cleaner appearance to it. Okay, so now I have this arm. Again, I'm cutting diagonally because I want it to sit snugly against the unicorn's, shoulder or whatever you want to call that area. Okay. And cut another piece. Because we want the unicorn to have 2 arms. Well, they're really 4 legs when you think about it. But yeah, so there's that. Some people like to make their arms so that they're touching the floor, but I'm okay with this. The unicorn can be touching its legs, or maybe, holding something up. It's up to you, really, what you want to do with it. So that's the body right there. If you want to put gold circles for the hooves, you can do that to make it look cuter. So now we're going to proceed to making the horn and the hair and the eyes. So we're just going to color bits of fondant for that. I don't color a lot of fondant because, as you have seen, I like to put Tylose in the fondant that I use, so they tend to harden and they'll be difficult to work with if they've been sitting out for too long. So what I do is I color just little bits and pieces at a time, and then that's what I use. And hopefully I just get little bits of leftovers. If they're malleable enough, I can work with them again. If not, then I just get rid of them. Okay, so I already have a pink one here. This was a leftover from earlier. I think that's still malleable enough. You can pop it in the microwave for a few seconds, maybe 3 or 5 seconds if it's this small. Bigger pieces can go in the microwave for, I don't know, 9 seconds max, for me anyway. And you have to be very, very careful because they can get pretty hot. Okay, so I already have a pink one. I think that a blue one is going to look really pretty. So I'm just going to use a blue color. I have lots of colors. And if you want to color your fondant, you have to make sure that you use a toothpick or a straw or whatever you got there. Don't stick the piece of fondant into your food color because you don't want to contaminate the food color and you want it to last for a while. So it's better if you just use the tip of a straw or a toothpick. Get a small piece of dot or whatever, and you slap that onto your fondant like so to color it. And if you need more, you can just dip the other side of the straw. Don't use the side that you already dipped. So I think I'm happy with that light shade of blue there. Because it is, after all, a unicorn, and they're cuter when they're, you know, lighter colored for some reason. Very delicate. Alright? So now that I've got that blue, I'm just going to wipe my hands in my wet towel here. We'll also be needing a bit of yellow. I'm really just adding bits of Tylose at a time. Okay. There. I've actually run out of yellow, so I just scraped that off of the cap. I'm getting rid of that. Okay, now I have yellow. And the last one is purple. So once again, we use our toothpick. There's still plenty. So I'm going to slap that on there. The advantage of using a plastic straw for picking the colors from the tube is that you can wash them and then reuse them. But if you prefer toothpicks that you can just get rid of and you don't want to trouble yourself with having to wash these little things, then you can do that. So more Tylose there. And I got that pop of purple. All right. So now all the colors are ready. We're going to proceed to making the unicorn head. I'm standing most of the time because when I'm kneading, I need to put force there. So yeah, we're going to start making the small head first. Just so we'll see the difference later. This is just for comparison purposes. I'm going to be decorating the two heads just to show you what the end result is going to look like. So there I placed the toothpick in the middle of the unicorn, and you attach the head like so, just so you sort of have an idea where that's gonna go. Okay, and so we're gonna make the ears. To make the ears, you just roll out a little piece like this, maybe the size of a blueberry, and then just gonna push with my pointer finger, and then just shape it sort of like a triangular shape then push it with your thumb there so that it'll fit snugly onto the head of the unicorn. If you want small ears, it's fine. If you want big ears, that's fine too. I mean, you're the decorator, so that's entirely up to you. But I think that these ears are a bit big, and I'm trying to make a unicorn, not a donkey. Okay, so with the Jinn, I'm going to attach the ear like that, and the other side. It's gonna be like that. So there it is. Okay. And I'm gonna do the same with a big head unicorn. So we're sort of decorating simultaneously. Sort of simultaneously. Okay, so I do the same thing. I just sharpen the tip there, and then I cut, and then once again you make like a triangular shape. I didn't make the ball anymore because I ended up adjusting, so you do that, and once you have that sort of like triangular shape, you cut it. It's okay to cut it bigger, and then if you're not happy with the ears, you can make them smaller rather than cut them super small, because it's harder to make it big, or you just have to redo. So now that that's been cut, you attach it to the head. So this is a tad big. I hope they look cute and they don't look like donkeys, because it would be awkward. I mean, to post a video tutorial of unicorns that look like donkeys. So there. Now I got those ears in place. We're gonna go and do the hair. Okay, so I'm gonna start with a white one. Sometimes your fondant becomes a bit too hard to work with. Like I said before, you can pop it in the microwave, or in my case, I use a water sprayer. So I have here purified water, and I just put that in a sprayer, and I just spray a little bit of water there, and that actually helps soften the fondant. Maybe I need it a bit more. That's if you're too lazy to go to the microwave, or if you don't have a microwave. And what I'm using on the table, by the way, is cornstarch, so that when I roll logs of fondant on my table, it doesn't stick. So there, I'm gonna remove a piece, roll it into a ball to remove the seams again, and then from here roll it into a log. And you just want to keep rolling. And then I'm going to cut a small piece, and then make sure that the edge is a bit on the pointy side. So that's going to go in my unicorn's head. And I'm going to arrange it in that fashion so that my unicorn sort of like has that wavy hair. And I'm gonna do the same to my big unicorn head. All right. So I got that, and then I'm gonna do blue next. If you have a longer extra piece of fondant, you can just prepare that for the unicorn's tail. So just let that sit there, and then you collect the different colors. So then later all you have to do is just twist them together and you have a pretty tail. Okay, so now we're rolling color blue. Then we're gonna attach blue here. I think that's a tad long. So you just adjust as necessary. Alright. I'm gonna do the same with the big unicorn. Just sort of like inserting the blue hair here. So, unlike me, this unicorn looks like it's been to the salon. It got its hair done. Alright, so I'm going to be putting a blue on the other side too. I'm actually thinking about, you know what? Maybe I'll leave that out. Sorry. We'll just roll out another piece and make it into the unicorn's tail. So it's good to work fast when you put a lot of Tylose on your fondant because it's gonna harden, and then when it gets really hard, it might be difficult to work with, and then you end up just breaking your fondant or having elephant skin or something. Okay, so we'll do the yellow. So I've got 2 pieces of yellow fondant. So we're gonna attach this last piece on here. And then I'm gonna do the same with this other piece. I actually just realized this one was a tad short, so I rolled up one that was a bit longer. You just curl it outward, so it gives your unicorn that soft look. Alright, so now I'm gonna roll out this yellow fondant also to make the tail. Okay, like that. And then you twist it together so you have a cute shape ready for the tail. And you do that while it's still soft, because if you wait a little longer, these small sausages of fondant is going to harden, and when you try to twist it, it's going to start breaking. All right, so now we're going to make the horn of the unicorn. Okay, this is something that I have observed in a lot of the cake makers. When I see posts about unicorn cakes, they tend to make the horn a bit more rounded. So sometimes I don't think it is the intention of the baker, but it looks a bit naughty because it looks like there's something sticking out of the unicorn's head and it's not a horn, if you know what I mean. So we're gonna be making the horn, and I'll show you how. I think it's going to look, a bit more effective in looking like a horn as opposed to that naughty thing that I was talking about. So you just roll it and make sure that the edge is sort of tapered like that to begin with. And you cut. It doesn't have to be like super thick. It can be skinny because you're going to be using 2 pieces of it. Stick it together. So here's another piece. So there's one piece and there's another piece. So you see how they're sort of tapered on the edge there. We're going to use a bit of alcohol to stick that together. And once that's stuck together like that, you make sure that they're stuck first, then you twist. So you see the horn is not rounded at the tip. You can even pinch it so you have a sharper tip. And then you cut it to whatever length you want and attach it to your unicorn. So you can just make a short one for a baby unicorn. You can make a ridiculously big one. But that's the basic shape, really. Just 2 tapered edges stuck together and then twisted together. Alright. Okay, so now I'm making just a tad bigger one for the other unicorn head that I have prepared. Same process. We'll stick it together like that. Okay. And then once that's done, you then twist. Okay. If you find the videos too long, you can just speed it up. I mean, we've already done the small one, so I decided to just do the big head. This was a impromptu decision, and I just realized it's taking me longer to finish my video. Right. So we're gonna stick the tail in the back of the unicorn, so you can make a hole. You can use a Dresden tool and poke a hole in the unicorn's butt, and that's where the tail is gonna go. You put a bit of alcohol or water and you stick the tail on there like so. Alright, and you arrange the tail so that you can see that pretty curvy, curly tail from the front. So there. Okay. And then we're gonna do the eyes. So the easiest thing to do is make happy eyes. Sorry, I was looking for a piece of fondant that was already black. I really don't want to color. Black tends to be a bit invasive, so I did not want to color. It gets into everything. So after you color black, you just wash your hands. I only scraped this off of the cover. I didn't get from the tube there because, yeah, I just really need a small amount. And now my hands are dirty. Wet towel. Hopefully that's enough. I had a baker friend who had carpal tunnel from washing and while decorating. It can be a bit stressful to the hands too. So now we're gonna roll them into super thin logs. Like really thin, like line thin. Because the thinner the lines are, the cuter your eyes are gonna look. Right? Okay, so I'm gonna remove the head because I think it's easier to work with the head when it's still just sitting there. So where are we going to place the eyes? I think that it's best to place the eyes in the middle area here of the unicorn, as opposed to up there, because putting it here is gonna make it look like the unicorn is a young unicorn. And of course, happy eyes means they're gonna be curved like that. Okay, so we're gonna stick it on there. Like that. So that's one eye. I've just attached the other eye. Like that. And now we do the smile. I'm using this tool. So it has that curved edge. And we're going to make the impression of the smile for the unicorn's face. So there it is. So you can opt to put a nose there if you like. I think I'm going to leave that as is because this is a small unicorn. And I think that it looks pretty cute the way it does, right? I mean, so I'm going to finish the bigger unicorn head. You can put more lashes on your unicorn if you want. It's gonna look more feminine if you add more lashes onto the edges. Okay. You have to be very patient because these are very, very tiny pieces of fondant. And sometimes they don't stick as well as you would like. So you have to be a bit patient there. Right now I'm just using a piece of toothpick to twist and move the eyelashes about. Until I get it to the shape that I want. If you feel like there's a bit too much, then you can just cut bits off. Okay, so I'm going to put more lashes on this other unicorn. Okay, I'm going to be adding 2 more lashes on each side. So there's going to be a total of 3 on each side. So just pick that up with the edge of a toothpick and stick it on there. That's number 1. And pick up another piece, stick it on there. That's number 2. So see how much more feminine that is. These are just options that I'm showing you. You can do whatever you feel looks better. So there you go. Now I'm going to put the lashes, they're attached. And I'm going to put the smile. On my unicorn. There's that smile. Don't put your smile down here because it's going to make your unicorn's face look longer. So if you want a cuter face, it's better to put the eyes and the mouth like closer together. So that's gonna give it the appearance of a cuter looking unicorn. So I'm just for comparison purposes, we're gonna switch the heads, and I'm gonna attach the big head now to the small body, and that's what it looks like with, sorry, the small body, the big head, I mean. And this is what it looks like with a smaller head. They're both cute, but you decide which one you like better. So thanks for watching, and I hope you subscribe, and you can comment whichever figure or lesson you want to learn next, and I will do my best to do a video about that for you. So thank you.